Hello everyone, sorry for the delay today. Things happened and I was just delaying, but I have only 1 hour or around 1 hour for this stream, so it will be short streaming right now. But I'm planning to be later in a few hours again, and I hope that I have more time and I will just be working on bigger things. So now it's just checking for this 1 hour. I will start a new area just to doing a summary for the last week or this week that I have been working. I have been working on this area. It's a new one, completely new one, a bit far from the town. You have been here before to see that the town is there, and this is continuing the river, and you see that there's a new complete area. So we're starting here a new NPC with a building and some place for farming, and also something to be doing gameplay in the future for the river. And I was creating a couple of paths for them. So there is one path here going to the small hill, so right to this point, and I was also adding another small one here close to the river. So you have both ways to arrive to this one, or you can go on the normal way that I have been using all the time, that is this one going from the town to this bridge, because in the future I'm planning to increase the map, all those areas. So that's why I was creating more new areas, and if you are just walking on this way, you can find a few things or gameplay in the middle, not just walking a lot and nothing to do for so far in the map. So more or less this area we can see that is almost done. I mean the NPC already has some plans, so there's doing something during the day and then going to sleep and then working during the day, sitting and things like that, so it's fine. And I have also dialogue, but at the moment there is nothing to do with this NPC, so the dialogue is just placeholder at the moment. But everything is done and it's working. I have all the logic ready, so I just increasing in the future with more features. I'm planning to do something here in this area. So that's the thing that at the moment I'm just leaving this area, so I'm not doing anything more, not adding any, I don't know, interactive things or messages here, props around. So that's almost done. In case that I'm just doing the new gameplay for this guy, I will just create things that we need and increasing a few things. Also, this path that we have here, the trail, will be continuing of this area, so, and then just passing to the new area of the map that is just going there. So when I'm doing more things here, maybe I need to do a few things more here. And also I was already increasing this small part of the map that is still not available, so you cannot reach there, but because everything closed. But just working on it, when it's done I will just increase this area, opening this part. So at the moment this is something like working here fine, but all those new areas that I'm just planning to start today, it will take I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, because it's a big area and big things to do here. The idea is from this initial point that I was just having in the past, that you have seen already. So it's just continue here, and I will have in this part another side of the river. I'm planning to put here the manor house, so this is something a bit bigger, and I need to create all the buildings that I need for that, like the small chapel, and also need to have like granary. I have a building for granary, but maybe I need to create something new or more accurate to the site that I have here. And also I will have them I don't know, some place for horses and things like that, so kind of stable. But I need to create also, because I did in the past, I did one for them, but it's mostly for the castle, and you have completely different things, like for example using stones. That is not the way for being here, but maybe plaster for all of them, so the same buildings that I'm doing already. The chapel will be blocks, so bricks. In that case, that's painted bricks, as I did already the chart. So the first thing that we need to do is just maybe work a bit on the terrain here to make something more plain for that. Oh yeah, maybe removing the grass that I have here already. So that's why I was leaving not everything painted on grass, but just big parts. So the first thing is just removing, if it's working. I hope it's working well today. Yesterday I had a lot of problem with for no reason, I don't know, with Unreal Engine, so I hope that today is working a bit better. Okay, the first thing is just deleting the grass, otherwise I will have those strange things that is floating grass all the time. So first thing is just deleting them, and oops, no, this all is too much. Okay, and then sculpting the terrain for that. I'm not sure exactly the size because I will be creating the buildings and then maybe increasing the size that we need and so on. So for that what we need to do is flatten, and I will just take this, which is 0 I think. Yes. And where is my brush? Here. And strings will be 1. So I'm just playing everything here. Giving some area for the manor house. Not sure how big it will be, so at the moment I'm just doing more space, and then I don't know, sculpting later something nicer. So why is just okay. Okay, let me just check playing. This is really well done. Looks to me not much. Okay. Making textures. Okay. So it looks flat at least. I think we have enough space. Well, we don't need to be completely flat, but at least not being the one that I have like a mountains, things like that. So what I'm not using initially is environment. This the fence that I'm using with the chart, for example, in any other places. So to create something that is being around there, the manor house, everything, and also I will just sculpt a bit the terrain, because I would like to have like a small hole here with some water, not being a river because it should be something smaller, and then we'll see how small, because I don't have much definition on the terrain, just to have better performance. So that's why maybe it's not enough to create something nice. Oops. Okay, I think it will take a bit of time, so I will create something bigger and I will add points in the middle. Oops. Okay. Strange. What is my point? Something in the middle. Yeah, usually when you are duplicating, it's giving you the option to choose the last one and not the new one that you have been creating. So that's why it's a bit stupid for that. Okay. Hey, good morning. Well, good night for you. Sorry, I was streaming even later today. I was maybe like 1 hour later for this streaming, but I'm planning to do again in the afternoon. Maybe it's of course too much for you, but I will be creating something bigger. So tell me about your interview. How was it? Are you lucky? Hola, Robert. Duplicate. Something strange. Okay. But how do you feel? Was fine, or you think that it was just a waste of time? Are you kind of expecting that they are calling you back? Because usually you have the feelings for that, like, well, it makes no sense, or I don't know. You have the feeling already. What is helping here? Okay, let's try again. Oh, cool. Because sometimes you feel like, yeah, definitely not for me. Pretty sure that they will not call me. You know, sometimes you have these feelings, like, or even feeling like I don't want to work there. That just also happens. So at least having this feeling like, well, seems good. Maybe could be fine if I'm going there. You know, people looks fine, or maybe you're the manager or things like that. Sometimes you feel like really not for me. Strange. Why this one is being nothing like that? Okay, good. Now, finally. Sorry, I was really thinking about streaming or not because being 1 hour late, not having much time, and especially today, I was just planning to do something bigger, let's say, with this area. That is something that. So the thing is, I'm not maybe creating everything on the stream because it takes really long for something so stupid. So the thing is just creating like fence all around and put inside this manor house. I will change maybe the fence that I'm using here for something different. I don't know. I could use this one, which is the most typical that I was using all the time, or I could create something bigger like well, not this one. I think it's door fence, or yeah, this one maybe, but doesn't matter, it's just changing the model later, so it's not a big problem. So the thing is, create something bigger and put everything inside. For that, what I want to do also is just modeling the oops, doing this in this layer. Okay, what I want to do is also sculpt a bit all around and put some water there. Ah, pensé que eras Robert, eras Aurora. Bueno, pues muy bien, bienvenida entonces. Si tienes cualquier pregunta, me lo dices, o si quieres ver alguna parte, también me lo dices, porque aquí hay gente que viene todos los días, lo tienen más que visto. So maybe I will do like minus, I think 100 is 1 meter. What we need to do is also smaller. So it's something like that, creating something around. This is too much. What is happening? Is it working? Okay. Okay, something like that. The thing is just creating water. I will just create right now, or I could even increase the one that I have already, just to see how it looks. Well, of course we need to paint also this inside. Painting will be this grass, no, not wet. Yeah. Compiling shaders. So Sankate, do you have any other interview? Are you waiting or expecting to be meeting with some of the companies, or still just sending your CV and letters and expecting to be something soon? I don't know. What is happening? Ah, the shader. Ugh. Okay. Oh, that's great, because it's just it's a matter of time. You have a few of them. Some of them will be already just working, and you let the company and they like you. The problem is when nobody is calling, that you are expecting nothing and you don't know how long it could take, and yeah. But being like that is good. I'm just waiting for the shaders. I don't know, can you see the shaders? Yeah, you see them compiling. All the time that it's just compiling, I can do almost nothing. So that's why I'm waiting a bit. And then this smooth should work. Okay, so you see this kind of things that I was just planning to do. Of course, need to paint a bit better. The next thing that I'm planning to do is the river. Maybe we'll increase the one that I have already. so I don't need to create another one. So for the river is this market NPC resort river here. I think this the one that I'm looking for. Oops. Okay, this is the river I have. It's a big one, and then another one just following the stream. But the big one is just I see here is just box, and I could just do that, and then need to be on the E scale like bigger. Okay, and should works. Okay, as I say, it's just working because it's just bigger one, covering all the terrain. So you have this one here, and it's translucent. That's why you see that the color is not much. The thing is here is not so expensive. I mean, it is, but not really expensive comparing with this one, because I'm using a couple of them. I'm also using the stream and Dev stand for the foam. In that case, I'm just using the river because I'm not planning to use here any, I don't know, stream here and just water. You just walk here, you will see that this is, of course, it has specular and also has those desolation, so that's working well. And I was expecting the sound of the water, but yeah, I think I need also to increase the underwater, which is where's my river again? No, this one. How to take this? Okay, come on, no. Okay, landscape, and then water blueprint. What's the name of this? River again. Okay, this is hard to select this one. I don't remember. This is trial. Okay, this is it's bad that you are just selecting here, but you need to just anyway move to the place where it is. Selecting is not really being when you the little selection should be expecting to be in front the one that you have been selecting, but since no. Okay, PP translucent water, and also what we need is this underwater also. This is a box collision that I'm using to detect where the water is. So in that case, this is one small. What is the one? This is the one that I'm using, and need to be 2 times from E, so 7,000, and just moving there also. So should be just covering the river and all the area that I'm planning to have. So this box is detecting the collision and it's just changing the sound for the water. Hey Guillem, ahora me he aprendido tu nombre, porque lo vi en Twitter, creo. He empezado 1 hora tarde yo también, Okay. So the sound is working for the water. It's detecting where you are when you are underwater, which is just detecting with this box collision. So that's the idea, just creating round area here with water and put inside all the buildings for the manor house. Sculpting. No. So should be something like that. Well, it's not the pond, but the area that I'm just creating around the manor house need to be closed with water around. So that's why I'm creating something like that, but I'm not planning to put water also in the middle. So that's the reason to be the manor house, all this area, just small things like that. So you have a small part where to cross this with maybe a door, and then the rest of the thing will be just round like that. Oops. Anyway, I will just using this mod later should be working. And I really don't know how big it should be when I have all the buildings. Maybe I can just have an idea and just redoing a bit better. But yeah, that's the main thing. And also sculpting is maybe not a good thing to do during the streaming. Oh, but had you been streaming? Because I didn't receive any notification for that. So you were working on the terrain. I mean, you have been using this world machine, and I have seen that you have already a world or at least one map that you have been using in the past, and maybe you have been creating a new one. Uh-huh. Okay. I really don't know how big. Oh. The problem with sculpting is trying to do this real time. I'm just burning my computer. But if I'm not using this real time, the problem is that the brush is not being updated many times, so this is not easy to sculpt during the streaming. Okay, so the last one that you have been using was maybe just for testing, things like that. Because you have been working on it and you were creating this map with a few places where you can just jump there. I really don't know how big it should be, longer or not. Okay. I will just put the building that I have just for testing, just to check the size. Blueprint buildings, and the biggest house that I have is I think it's this one, so it could be a good reference for that. I think I need to create this area a bit bigger because I don't have much space, and during the time that they have these manor houses, they are more or less autonomous, so they have a few space for farming and they have space for animals also, and a few more buildings. For example, this chapel. So in that case, as you see, it's not enough. Need to be much bigger to have all those buildings inside. So I used to create something bigger. Flatten here. Okay, so just keep in mind that having something bigger, you need to fill out of things there and not just like forest doing kilometers. So trying to put kind of gameplay, as you say, you have creatures and things like that, but yeah, having a few kilometers is not so easy to fill all of them. Just for reference, I'm using 200 meters square, 200 meters square, so it's not even 1 kilometer square. So that's people that are creating like 64 kilometers square. It's almost impossible to fill this one with a real gameplay. So what I'm doing is just creating a small map and then increasing when I need to put more things. Otherwise it's just too big and yeah, completely lost. So I'm just increasing on the time that something's happening. Yeah, of course, it's also people is just using this procedural things that so you can just create something, not you, but I mean the game is just creating and you don't need to be worried about this. But yeah, it's not the same because all those things procedural, more or less, they don't have any gameplay. You were working also on what have you been doing? A cave. I see you have been working also on caves, and you have kind of plugin or you testing or things like that for creating the caves. Was looking fine, more or less. Okay, and what we need to do is just 0 for this one. So we can just hold here. and that's the space for this area. Oops. This is starting very laggy. I hope the stream is going well. This is not going very well for me. So kind of yeah, small surface here, and altogether I will put all the things that I need to put there, creating something nicer, and then all the vegetation first, and yeah, much nicer than painting the terrain. But that's the main idea. So just creating here like a small area, and this, for example, this fence needs to be all around here, and all the buildings that I need to create inside, like farming and house, chapel, and a couple of places for granary and animals that I don't have yet. So I was creating, for example, a stable for the castle. If I have this one, just for reference, but it was really big for the castle. So just as you see, it's really big, but it's good reference for size. That was too much. Okay, so just deleting this, and I have also granary here that I can use, small one. Say there's game. Anyway, I want to create a specific house for the manor house, not using any of them, but just for reference I'm using them, so that's good. When you see on the button that is compelling shaders, my computer is almost frozen, so that's why I'm not doing much during this time. And it's so slow. At least the run today is going better than yesterday. So I have only 86 and not 99 as usual. I'm planning to increase the map also all around. So the main idea was just creating small towns that are being closed altogether. But I think that I will just increase the map, of course putting them in different levels, so I'm just loading and loading. And giving the option to the player that walk from one town to another town all around, and they will have a few towns with I don't know, a couple of kilometers maybe the map. So I was increasing this one, the manor house here, some farms here that I need to create, well, not farm but pastures for animals, or just communal places for farming. And that's why I was trying to connect everything. I will use hills, I mean crossing the hills, you cannot see the another side of the hill, so I can unload or load in the towns for that. And I was also testing about more vegetation and forests and things like that, and it's working fine. So I don't have big performance issues with big areas with grass. The trees are not good, but I'm planning to replace them, so that's fine. And I was also working with a panoramic that I was attaching to the player. So when you are walking, the panoramic is moving with you, so you are never arriving. Otherwise, you can see if you are walking, let's say on the map, going there. If you go there, you see you arrive here, and this is exactly the same as Truman Show. You know, have the same feeling, arriving to the end of the world. So yeah, to try to avoid this one, what's happening if you play here, for example, the panoramic is just moving with you, so going with you at the same time. So if you are just walking, this panoramic is never being close to you, and you can walk 3 kilometers on the map, completely different place, and the panoramic is always going with you. I have absolute rotation, so this is not rotating with the player, with the camera. but this is moving with you, otherwise you will have this feeling that you are arriving to the end of the world. And I would just create maybe hills or just rocks, things like that you cannot cross more, and of course covering this bottom part, as you can see with the fog. This is also helping a lot with the distance, the full distance, maximum distance than just painting, and also with the fog, because I know exactly how far it will be the fog, because after that there is nothing to paint. So this is the maximum distance that I'm painting in my world, which is also helping with for pulling a lot of things. And this is the maximum that I'm painting. So having this one, if it's working well, will be working. No, doesn't matter how big it is. The only thing is unloading or downloading levels just to keep down the RAM. But I mean the maximum distance being painting around, it's just being controlled with this panoramic. So it's just helping a lot. So yeah, walking, and the panoramic is just moving with you all the time. So you cannot feel that it's being closer. And doesn't matter how far you are in the world, you have always the same distance. So it's the same feeling. So if I'm going, for example, this part here, the one for the editor is just fixed, it's just for example, for screenshots, things like that. But if I'm starting on this point of the game, of the map, the panoramic will be at the same distance as I am. So it's maybe cutting down a bit with the area with the manor house, but doesn't matter because you are always in this part so far, and it's never being closer. Of course, I have those holes that I need to cover with this. I can try, I could try just starting, but probably I cannot even load the map. So doesn't matter about creatures or even moving them. I can see like 3 frames per second maybe, in case that they are moving. Yeah, I don't think so. But don't be worried because I cannot play any game. None of them. So yeah, that's fine. I'm not planning to play any game. Because even mine could be just quiet and that's fine. But if you have any actions, you need to have any kind of combat. If you are going to 3 frames per second, you can understand that it's impossible to do anything. So laggy. Or for example, the time that you are loading the texture, even being streaming, most of the time they use more than 1 GB. So this my pool of streaming is completely full of them. So it's all the time uh, reading and removing because the cache is not enough for all of them. So yeah, most of the time I'm just spending my hard drive just loading, unloading textures, and everything is popping around. So yeah, it makes no sense playing like that. So that's why mine is so small and the map is small. I'm using this fake panoramic to cut down everything with the full distance, things like that. And for example, the trees are being billboard until maybe 50 meters from them, things like that. I will just show you on the load generation, so you can see it's really not far. Well, it's almost disappearing about the orientation, but you see that all of them are being billboards until you are really in front. Yeah, so it's maybe less than 50 meters, and then it grows to be billboards to real one. Yeah, but you have animation there, you have particles. For example, particles are, as you know already, working on GPU, and it's quite intensive for particles because you have a few of them. Sometimes you need to calculate also, for example, the collision between them. So yeah, it's having particles or a few animals that are having animation. They need to be calculating every single frame. It's just burning any computer. The main problem with mine is about rendering. I mean, the CPU is more or less fine, so it's not a big problem for that. But yeah, but GPU is not painting, so you have, as I say, like a 3 frames per second means nothing. So you cannot even play anything. Let's smooth this round. Oops, that's the problem. The smooth need to be smaller. So minus 100 gain. Yeah, could be something bigger. is easier. And then the smooth will be much smaller. I have problem doing less than maybe 60, because otherwise, since not taking the enough vertices to do something smooth for some reason, I don't know. So it's hard to control exactly how the smooth is working in something small area. Probably it's just about the terrain that I'm using, that I didn't have enough triangles to do something nicer. Could be, but it's not working very well for me. Okay. Well, mine is almost impossible to play anything. As I say, the only thing that I'm playing is chess, because you don't need to render anything. That's fine. But yeah, I'm working all the time on performance, and this game, which is quite simple, and you have a few NPCs, but not really critical, and you have any combat. As you know, it's almost 30 or 35 frames per second most of the time. Some places that have like 20, even less, but well, more or less you can just play this. But yeah, not counting any game like that, so simple, I have problems. So use something like that. This painting. Planning to do also a few vegetation around the river, so that's why I'm not painting or putting vegetation around the river at the moment, because I'm planning to create something nicer and then cover all of them. The first idea was just creating a vegetation and putting there also the collision, so I'm avoiding to go to the river. But in the end, I was just creating the river, just giving some option, since not so realistic that you cannot go through the river, for example. So that's what I was creating all these underwater blueprints and controlling where you are underwater, changing a few effects for the camera and things like that. And this is a smooth again. Well, I was just giving you one. For me, I cannot show right now. I mean, I can do that, but being obvious at the same time, just doing this streaming is not going well. But usually, I have like a 35, 30 around. Of course, I'm going to the forest. I have, but I can say, for example, here, this area when I just starting, I have like 35. Okay, so go this way, maybe 32 for this area. That's fine. Going, of course, if I'm going to the forest here, I have like 20 or 25 maximum. So never have 40, but yeah, around 20, 30, more or less working. So for me, it's fine. That's enough for me. Running like 20, 30 frames per second, that's fine. I'm talking about 8080p. So yeah. Well, that's fine. Of course, I can play on window web, and this is going a bit faster. But yeah, more or less that's fine. Around 30, a bit less. 20 is fine. Usually, as I say, I'm not playing more than 15. And other than that, you see with the editor for also for the streaming and so, my engine is limited to 15. I think, if it is true, should be. Trying to open. Okay, finally. General settings, and I have here block to 15 already. So otherwise it's just being really slow and then burning my computer all the time. So I'm working on 15 all the time, and in case I'm just playing, then you can see this 15 limit. I have ultra settings all the time. Epic. That's fine. You mean using this stat or which benchmark? Because I did a few of them with yeah, for testing on internet. So of course not. That's fine. Jeje, Aurora, ¿quieres que juguemos un poco? A lo mejor porque hay muchas mecánicas, no sé si lo has visto en el juego. Voy a abrirlo, voy a abrir una copia. I will just start right now a building that I have already, and you can see how it's going with a shipping build. But the thing is, of course, that doing at the same time the streaming is not so fast as should be, but yeah, it can be. Te voy a enseñar ahora las mecánicas que ya hay del juego. Anyway, I will just close this one. I'm having problem with my RAM again. Sorry. Oops. Ugh. Having problem with the RAM. And the hard drive also. I will just play here. So things that you can do, for example, you can just sit on places. You can sit here. And then time is passing and you are more resting, so that is working. You see all the subs are moving, you can cancel anytime. You have a few places that you can open the doors, you can open the windows also. This house is completely empty, but let's go to another one. You say you have been working on the server for a few times. Of course, you need to be fixing a lot of things, adding a few new ones. But yeah, it's good that it's working, because just the base is working and the rest, as you say, is mostly modeling. Aurora, esto por ejemplo no está porque es una versión más vieja. So you have here the index for praying. You can have this index for religion that you need to keep high also, and the same with this tiredness and, for example, hungry, things like that. So there are a few indexes that you need to keep working. I have plenty of things because just for demo. I have a few things here for testing, debug on the editor. I don't have any mission because it's just for testing. But I can just start right now the game and see a real game. You have also here the markets where you can just buy or sell things and a few products here. I cannot put in full screen because it's really slow for that. The chart that you cannot see because it's all too close for you, but you can be here. And you can be here for. Let me check the time of the day. It seems to me that this is not working for some reason. Yeah, it is working. That's fine. Of course, you have 100 things to do, but as you say, just starting, it's already a lot. The chart is not completely finished because I'm still missing the painting on the walls, and the floor is not done. I need to close a few things here, but you can go even to the tower, no problem. So you can go to the tower, and you can go to the top. You have a few windows here. You want to see what is happening outside, and you can arrive to the top, and you can see the down here. There is the bell that is also playing 2 times a day, and have animation and sounds and everything, so we can just move to the time that is just playing. So let me go out. I'm showing everything, but of course you don't have access to everything the first day that you are just playing. I mean, you need to go to some places, and by default everything is closed. But yeah, you are progressing in the game. You can go all the buildings, you can go inside, and you have everything here, like windows, doors. You have places where to sit here. You have also chest here with this one is empty. That's like, yeah, I like this one. The problem is about performance. It's having a lot of problems with performance, but that's fine. So you can just sit here. You can sleep also. So let's try to sleep a bit. You can sleep a bit, and this is fade out, of course. and then you have rest already, and this is 100. So you can just continue, let's say, playing here. And a few more things that you can do. Of course, you have sit places for all around the map just for resting. You have a lot of places with things here, and all the doors are working, so you have a lot of them. Or for example, this one also. You have also the one with the toilet. You can use the toilet you want. It's also interactive, and you can plant here. This is not mine, sorry. You can gather resources from the forest. You can go here for bakehouse. You have dialogues for all the NPCs have dialogues, so you can talk with them. And that's just a few conversations that you can have. And you can cancel anytime. So on all the buildings, for example, this is a bakehouse, and you can recipes, so you can do things here. I don't have the ingredients enough, but for example, you see here that it's not. I have one of them, but not all of them. You can use a few things like that to create different recipes. Of course, I don't have the items right now. You can bake things also, and you have all the recipes here. Of course, not having enough in my inventory, things like that. You have also the water mills that will go inside. I would like to have this full screen, but it's going really slow if I'm playing with that. So you can go also inside. I need to change the sound, it's so low. But you have everything here working. So you could in the future also having have the walls here, the wheel, everything working. And supposed to be done in the future, you can also crafting a few things there. You have here the millets here, still working. You can walk, have water, different sounds for different terrains. And what more? Farming. I forgot about this, farming. Can I farm here? Okay, I'm just changing a few things on my on the editor just to help with this. Otherwise, I need to farm or talk with people, things like that. So it's not makes no sense. So I'm just changing a few things and I'm doing a few tricks. So okay, so you can plant here. Let me see. I can just move. Let's say full screen. So you can plant, and this is free form to plant. You can plant any place. Okay, and after that you can just work on it. So you can farm. And for that I need to have a tool. I need to have also seeds in my hands, and well, a few things that already I have for testing. I have everything. So in case you are, for example, farming here, you just click on it and you see that this is the, let's say, passing the time but also working. So in case, let's try to do something that you can see this here. I don't know. Okay. Well, the plant is just growing, as you see. It's just growing a bit. So this is the time that you are passing, working, but at the same time you are farming. You see the items here, so you are more tired and more hungry. And time has been passed. So you can work a bit during the day, but not working the whole day or farming all the time. So after a few time, when this is already done, you have a different icon, which means harvest. So you're harvesting your crops, and you have here in your inventory with the things that you have. In that case, for example, you see this is onion, so you will have your inventory onion that you are just taking, and you can just after that selling, buying, or even eating, because you have also here this hungry, and I have bread here. If I'm eating, you will see this one increasing. So this is increasing and removing from your inventory, so you can produce things and you can eat them also. And maybe I don't know if I have a few more mechanics, like for example playing all the day and night. And you can go to the forest, and I was just also doing, you can find resources like picking up wood or stones in the forest, any forest, so you have lots of them, resources that you can find and then use for crafting or just selling, things like that. So you have a lot of things around. The river, and all the NPCs have dialogues that you can just talk with them, and some of them are giving you a few things, so they are, I don't know, helping you or giving you information about things that you need. And the map is completely free. I mean, you can walk any place, anytime. Everything is open up to, of course, the limit that I have already in the map. So I mean, being inside of this map, everything is possible to walk there, so there are no invisible proxies or things like that. And all the buildings have been, I will just will be out of the demo. All the buildings have interior, and most of them have, of course, already furniture. Not all of them, but most of them. So you have here also furniture for all of them, and most of them are also interactive, like for example sitting, sleeping, or putting things here. All the windows and things like that. Windows and doors are working according to the time of the day, and also the orientation for the window. So this window will have more light during afternoon because it's just being oriented with the sun. The sun is going on this direction, so the right. So this will have more light during the afternoon, and this one will have more light during the morning. So I can even just play here. I have a lot of keys for testing that, well, you cannot see anything on the screen, but I'm just changing a few things, or just giving me, I don't know, things like, for example, opening closed doors. And you see, for example, here, this is the window, they have a few of light, and I will just be passing faster time, and you see on the left corner, you see the supposed to be the time, and this is 10, and it will be increasing with time. So, and you see how the light is also changing from the window. I'm not illuminating too much from this part. Well, this is the charge right there, you can see. This is the main sound of the computer, so it's probably, and you can see the bell is just moving also. So maybe you need to go down the sound in case that it's everything also about the microphone. Maybe you can just increase a bit, because I mean the music is really low, and the only thing that you can hear is the sound of my computer, which is the sound of the game. So that's why, but yeah, I can just decrease a bit on OBS. Mm. So let me know now, for example, with I was just decreasing a bit the sound of the computer. In that case, it's still loud or not? Comparing with the microphone, I mean, because it's not the problem if you are listening the sound of the game within the time I'm talking. Because I prefer that, for example, people just listening the sound that I have when I'm walking, for example, or about the doors, things like that, better than just having my microphone. You know? There's a few things like that. Maybe after a year. This is something really not, I mean, critical or having a problem. So when I'm really close to be releasing the game, or at least having like a public demo, things like that, I will add settings and audio settings and things like that. Otherwise, this is not really needed. If someone is just trying, it's fine. I need, for example, also doing this load save game progress, because you are also losing. So there are things that are much more important for me at the moment than just changing the volume of the audio. Just people can do in your computer, and that's all. Of course, it's not convenient, and will be for sure in the future. We'll have all those options, but it's not really critical at the moment, and there's not a problem at all. So yeah, I wanted to show something more, some of the mechanics. I don't remember which one I have. The crafting, sleeping. I have also the well with water. I forgot about this. So if you go to the well, I don't have this, okay. So things like that says you don't have a bucket, so you cannot take water. but you can just put here. I have ready, so I put in my hand, and then you can fill this bucket here, and you can just even drop or fill. And after you have this one, this is fill of water, then you can go to some places that have all around the map. This is one of them. So I can just drop here the water. In that case it's full. Okay. Well, there are a few of them that you can just put water there or take from it. This is also the same problem, yeah. Well, you can just put water and take water and things like that. Yeah, I told you that there's already a menu that have been done, and this is just the commands for the interface. Yeah, this is just console commands for everything like that. I know it takes 1 day, but also takes 1 day doing loads. It takes 1 day doing the river, and takes 1 day for everything. You know, and that's the thing that working for a year still takes 1 day. Like for example, some of them they don't have loads. That is not taking 1 day. It takes maybe a couple of hours. But I have more than 100 items here. So a couple of hours mean 200 hours doing loads. So of course, not all of them have already load, you know. Всем привет! Как дела? Как сегодня? So yeah, this is have a really long list of things to do that takes really not much time. That for example, adding audio or changing something in the user interface, adding audio for a few mechanics or things like that. Just most of the time I'm really spending a lot of time trying to find reference for good things, like for example this manor house or things like the houses or even props, kind of the chairs that they were using and things like that. It takes really a lot of time because it's so easy to find castles and everything for the kings, you know, like furniture for kings. Yeah, but what about peasants or serfs, you know, which kind of furniture they have, you know? Show malinki. So yeah, a lot of things like that. For example, all the NPC that I need to change, also change the clothes and things like that. Да, конечно. На английском возможно, или хочешь, я тебе объясню все на русском? Где кровати есть здесь, вот. Немецкий. Это still есть, все работает, все как другой SEO, это интерактив, который возможно, есть рейкаст, где все одинаково. А когда я сплю, что я так делаю, есть типа процесс, который ты начинаешь, время идет побыстрее, чем, например, спать, работать, сидеть, и так далее. Все это быстрее будет, когда ты делаешь, не знаю, какой-то что-нибудь. Делаешь что-нибудь, и время идет побыстрее. Не, просто мне не сложно, а просто люди, если кто тоже интересует, так и не понимает, это на русском, тогда и, конечно, ничего не понимает об этом. Вот поэтому так просто спросил. Вот. Ну вот, тогда время идет побыстрее, и что я делаю во время, что на каждый, через секунд или какое-то время, я делаю это побольше или поменьше, например, когда ты спишь, ты отдыхаешь. Когда ты отдыхаешь, тогда как устал или нет, я делаю еще поменьше каждый секунд. Поэтому через сколько времени ты уже отдыхал и но, когда уже смотрю, это типа 100%, уже все, закончить, больше не надо спать. Вот. А во время, что идет, конечно, каждый секунд на реальном мире, что ты типа живешь, играешь, и делаешь еще поменьше. Конечно, много, потому что у меня есть, я сейчас объясню. У меня есть Action Manager. И это все делает все, что возможно, например, спать, и все остальное все есть. Поэтому все процессы есть два. Как я сейчас объясню, если могу открывать. Никак. Окей. Вот, на каждый, например, кровать здесь. Есть два. Типа get action, get видишь, что возможно сделать. Но здесь возможно сделать только sleep. Хорошо, тогда sleep, так да или нет, если такой. Это что у тебя на экран. Когда ты уже поближе, ну нажимаешь здесь, типа написано спать хочешь или нет. Вот. А ты нажимаешь, и тогда что делаешь? Execute action. И тогда это идет здесь. На Execute action, что идет, это Action Manager Sleep. Вот. И все, что делает на Action Manager, есть типа начинает спать, iteration, на каждый секунд, например, что ты спишь, и конец. Поэтому, когда начинаю, например, я буду на экран это поставить на это widget, и все так далее, что мне надо. Каждый, а потом эта iteration, когда делаешь это, каждый секунд будет делать больше спать или меньше спать, и все так далее, что делает. И когда уже типа это закончит, так и удаляю про на экран это widget, и все обратно. Например, время, что ты спишь, невозможно это поменять человек. А когда уже закончит, но плеер уже еще работает. Все так. Понятно, не очень? Упс. Вот. Это начало, это приказ, который делает типа get action. Вот, и тогда у меня action, который возможно. Хорошо, когда я уже нажимаю, тогда начинает спать, который есть экран. На экран у тебя есть все это. А потом на каждый секунд так идет поменять часы. И делать побольше у тебя это устал или нет. И уже когда 100% все и закончил. Удаляет виджет, дают еще раз, что можно поменять человек и так далее. Это так. Но если хочешь точно еще что-нибудь, но просто так это по идее так есть. То у меня есть все. И спать, и курс, и работа, и все это далее. Что делаю просто так. Поэтому если у типа вопрос, что точно как это делать что-нибудь, но просто есть еще такое. Можно делать, так и делаешь, тогда начинает делать что-нибудь, например, невозможно, это контроль, невозможно поменять человек, еще на экран widget, еще не знаю какое-то дело быстрее время и так далее. А потом iteration, каждый секунд делать что-нибудь, например, больше курсать, или, например, крафтинг, так тоже делать, идем дальше. А когда закончит, потому что ты сделал это отменить или 100%, вот, все обратно, дают еще раз плеер, удалить widget, и все так далее, все нормально, как еще играешь. English, I was just working with English people, and also about IT, you need of course English, just traveling or meeting with new people, you are just learning English. I was also living and working in London. And Russia, I was living in Russia, so I was just having a few time to learn there, and right now living in the Baltic countries, so I'm just working every day. Hola Juan, ¿cómo va todo por Argentina? And about Spanish, I'm Spanish. So I was just learning in the school. So is there any other mechanic that should be just showing you or not? I think it's not. I will just start this build and I will be working for 10 minutes round because I have still 10 minutes. So if you want to see, I don't know, any mechanic or any part of the game, or as you say, asking about some specific mechanic how it's working, of course I can just explain or also what I have, maybe not code, or I can just show code of course, but explaining how the thing is going there. He was just asking about the sleep mechanic, and I was just explaining and showing that all the mechanics are doing exactly the same. Let me just click here. Is it working? Okay. Right now in the chat there are people from USA, there are people from Spain, and people from Russia. So I think that any of them could be just choose which is best for you. But I think most of you just speak English or at least understand English. But if you have any question or you don't understand some part, just let me know. I can just try to explain on the on your language. So this is just building that I'm doing. That's why I was trying to explain that I have like 9 frames per second because my computer is now being really busy and also trying to close the editor, so that's fine. So if I'm just playing, let's say the real game, you see that my inventory is empty. Of course, I don't have any money, and this is something, one of the values, something in the middle. I don't have any item on my hands, but I have here the mission that I have to do. So this is like one mission, and this is sub mission that I need to complete to just progress with this one. And in case that I have more mission, I will be just creating here more missions. So the mission system, everything's working, but at the moment there are just a couple of demo tests, and that's nothing more. If I'm just trying to open the doors, all the buildings are closed. So, well, not all of them, but most of them. And with this building, sorry, because it seems to me that okay, sometimes it happens that it's just frozen on some image with OBS for some reason. Fence movement. I was just using a timeline on blueprints and using this rotate. So relative rotation, I was just rotating this one. If you want to do any other things like that, you can go with this move component 2, which is a node already in blueprint, and you can define there the degrees that you want to rotate, easy in, easy out, and number of seconds that you want to do. So it's much easier just to rotate. It's just kind of displacement, so there's really nothing to nothing fancy. The thing is that those small fences are like a really complex base door, where I have a lot of parameters like how many degrees, which orientation, and also they have a few box collision detecting, for example, where when the NPCs are trying to cross and then they are just being open or not, because some of them are blocked, and some of them, for example, needs also to have a key, but for the NPCs they are just crossing. And also they have a few more box collision to detect this one, so you cannot cross the door if it is blocked, for example, at the same time that the NPCs are crossing. So the doors are really much more complex, but the question about moving the fence or just moving just the door is just rotating. Relative rotation using a timeline, so the time is passing and then it's just rotating this one. But you can use this move component 2, so you can move this static mesh to the place that you want to have. If you are using a timeline, you can use like a play from start or stop, or play from end. This move component 2 have already stopped, so you can stop at any time the animation if you feel like you know, you need to stop moving. But yeah, but mainly they're so simple, like rotate. As you see, there's nothing fancy. The only thing is my mesh, the mesh that I'm creating on my 3D editor, so with Blender in that case, need to have the pivot point here, otherwise you are rotating from the pivot point. So you put here the pivot point, this is just rotating all around. The thing is, just put here your pivot point and it will be rotating on this direction. If you put on this one, will be rotating on this one, the relative rotation. So you can modify also the pivot point on the editor already, in case that's not going well. But if you are planning to do like generic doors or windows, things like that, it's better to have this pivot point already well done on this one, so you avoid a lot of problems. For example, here you see that I have the toilets, and I can choose one of the options that I have for the toilets. I can choose on which direction the window is opening or the door is opening. In that case, what I'm using, because I cannot change the pivot point on blueprints, what I'm doing is creating stem and then attaching to this stem the static mesh, and I'm rotating and moving this stem to move or simulate moving this pivot point. But this is something much more complex. So for so simple, just put the pivot point one on the side and use this rotation, and that's it. So you don't have any problems, really, one single node for that. So try to find this move component 2, and maybe you have some examples because it's one single node, so there is not a lot that you need to do. That you pass there as parameter which mesh are you planning to move or rotate, the time that you want to be rotating, and then the final rotation and position, because you can even move, not only rotate. In my case, I'm not rotating, not moving. But yeah. Oops. That's happening all the time. Let me see again. No, it's everyone, because sometimes OBS just frozen and it's just stopping on some of the images that I have. So let me see if now it's moving. Yeah, since moving now. Is it moving? Well, maybe there are some delay on the video and then we need to wait. That should be moving. Yeah, but sometimes happens like just frozen. I need to check all the time OBS to see if it's a happen stop. For some reason, I don't know, when I just play, maybe it's something of playing on full screen. I'm having problem with OBS because I'm just rendering the screen and not the application. So that's why sometimes it's being lost for some reason. I see now it's moving, so in case that you don't see it yet, it's probably about the lag that you have in the streaming. But yeah, let me know if it's stopping again because I'm checking most of the time. But yeah, it's stopping. I don't know what the problem is. At least I know that is a problem. Check time. Okay, we have 5 minutes more. I will just walk around to see the new area. I know it's going slow, as you see, it's 9 frames per second for me. It's really slow. Okay, yeah, I think it's just the delay for the streaming. Perfect. If it's stopping again, just let me know. It happens quite often, so I'm just walking, checking at the same time. I think it's when I'm going to the menu. Let me see again. Going to the menu and then leaving. Well, no, not this time. But sometimes it's happening like people is telling me that you are only in the menu. So since that when I'm doing that, it's just stopping. At least I can see that it's stopping. Not only you. I mean, I can see on OBS when the image is just frozen. And this is the new area that's still closed, but will be in the future. You have here a few crosses also, you can play the same. This is going really slow. 7 frames per second. This is about OBS because I can play here around 30. And this is the same for the Windows. I have the Windows also with this timeline, and this just rotating for them. I cannot open this one. Okay, I see I don't have the key, so I cannot open this door. Yeah, that's working fine. And I will be this small area. Just keeping an eye on OBS all the time. On the charts here. I will go on this way. The thing here, stop. There's a meeting, secret meeting for them. That sometimes it happens. I have problem with the recreating of the path. This enough mess for some reason. Now it's full screen, I know. Okay. So you see, if I'm just doing something smaller, of course it's just being faster, but it's nice to have this full screen. So what's exactly the question? All the houses are blueprints because they have a lot of things to do, like for example windows, doors, and you have also things like being inside of the building, outside of the building. You have the sound, for example, if you're reaching the sound, if you are inside or outside. You have also the sound, 3D sounds on coming from the door which you are going inside, and also the illumination is changing inside of the house, like for example switching on and off all the windows and door lights. So every building is like a big huge blueprint where you have this model, all the code for doors, windows, rooms. They have also rooms there, lighting, the audio. Well, all of them are just extending from some one single base class for all of them. But yeah, and also all the decals that I have here. So yeah, a few things that are kind of big one. And for example, if you are talking about the chart, it's even bigger. For example, things like that. But yeah, all the houses are blueprints. But everything that you see in the game I did. So I mean everything. All the buildings. I was modeling all the buildings. You want to see how I was modeling all the buildings on Blender during the streamings. I was creating all the buildings during the streamings. Every single building, for example this one, this tall house, small one, I was also creating during streaming. And this one, for example, I was creating also the blueprint all together. So creating the decals and then putting the blueprint, for example, from the lighting as you see here. If you go inside, the sound is also a bit not so loud. Let me show you. It's a bit less. And also you have the light here, for example, coming from the door. I feel things like that. So it's just controlling everything from this house is controlling itself about the sounds and lighting and everything. So I was also creating during streaming. For example, this one I remember I was creating the model in Blender and then putting here, creating all the blueprint, all the decals, and connecting a few things that I need to have for that. But yeah, all the buildings are blueprints, and for example this big one have a few rooms and also 2 floors. So there is much more complex with a lot of rooms. Every room is also controlling about the lighting for performance reasons. So yeah, you have a lot of things, but all of them are blueprints, all of them. Even for example the well is blueprint, it's also being interactive. So even like something more like the well, or for example granaries or things like, all of them are blueprints. Or for example the charts controlling also the bell on time, the illumination when you are going inside or outside. So yeah, almost everything is blueprint. Or for example the market, there are also blueprints controlling when you are just doing actions for them. Yeah, most of them are blueprints. So for example those storage or all the benches that you have here that you can see, so they are interacting with the players. So they are, all of them are blueprints. Yeah. But I did everything that you see. I was doing the model, the lighting, texturing, the blueprint, the code, C++ in case that they are having any C++ code, all the dialogues, NPCs, I don't know, everything. Let's see, I was doing most of the time doing streaming. So yeah, in case that you want to see something specific, or want to see, I don't know, how I did for example this watermill, or how I did the dialogues for the baker, or peasants, well, you can just, I don't remember, I can just help you trying to find the video where I was doing this one. So in case that you want to see something specific, for example for your game or just for learning. Okay, so I think it's time for me to leave. Sorry for the short streaming this time because I was coming late, but I will come later this afternoon, maybe in, I don't know, 2-3 hours. I will just come with more time, and I will be working on this manor house. Probably I will be modeling at least the white boxes to have the real size for them, and maybe some of the sculpting on the terrain. But yeah, definitely I will be later with more time, and I will be doing much more thing. I didn't want to start this one with this short streaming, so I didn't do much this time, but I will just continue starting working with this big area. It will take a few days. So if you don't have any more questions, I think I will leave here the streaming. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. Hope you enjoy learning something. You enjoy the time here, and I hope to see all of you here also later or the next day. Thank you, have a nice day. Bye bye everyone.